It's 3 in the morning and I am heading off to the airport to Japan. That's right, back in late March and early April of this year, my dad and I were able to go to Japan with the high school that I go to, along with many of the other students who take Japanese class. Now, I do want to do a little bit of an introduction before I start this, so if you want to skip it, there's probably something down below, like a chapter thingy, and I will make chapters for the video as well. So, my school has a Japanese class, and Mr. Rubida has been teaching it since 2006.
So let's say I've never seen one of these little yellow squirmy creatures before, and I want to ask you in Japanese, what is this?
Seriously though, Mr. Rubid is awesome, and since 2009, every 2 years or so, he would take students to Japan with a tour held by EF Tours. The last one he did prior to this was in 2019, but this gap was 4 years due to COVID. Now, I knew about this because my brother ended up taking Japanese, and he went on the 2019 trip, and that really made me want to go, especially as a geography nerd. Now, initially, they were thinking about moving the trip to the summer, and if that happened, the seniors would not have been able to go. At the time, the reasoning was that it was within the 180 days before the trip happened, considering there's some issues with communication regarding the trip. But yeah, this was an opportunity that I would not be willing to give up. My dad was able to go because he's a teacher at the school, and teachers, I believe, get like discounts and stuff, so that was cool. I believe 3 other teachers also went on the trip as well, due to how many students went. This was by far the most attended Japan trip of all time at the school. I believe 60-something people were there. And there were also some parents who went along on the trip as well. Now, there were 2 main groups on the trip. My dad was kind of the leader of the second group, along with Mrs. Harrington and Mr. Murphy, 2 of the other teachers there. Mr. Rubida had the main group, along with his daughters, Maya and Emily, and also Mr. Ristich. There were multiple meetings in the lecture hall in prior preparation for it. Also, a couple days before we left, I tried to interview some people, asking how they felt about the trip, or like what they were excited for. I wasn't really consistent on the question, but what are your thoughts on the upcoming trip?
I think it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a fun experience.
It's gonna be.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's gonna be epic.
I'm looking forward to buying way too much merch that I do not need. I am so excited to honk people's noses with chopsticks.
I am excited to try new food.
Very excited.
Excited, but also terrified.
Yeah. There were more people I could have asked, but I kind of forgot who exactly was going on the trip, and I had limited time. This was like 3 days before the trip. So, finally, the day came, or at least the day before March 22nd. We had a plan to take a nap during the evening, and then wake up at night, pretty much, to get to the airport by about 3 in the morning, as our flight from Detroit to Toronto, a layover flight, would be at 6. After driving a little bit, we arrived at the airport at around 3:20 in the morning. We were the group that went, obviously, in the morning, in the very early morning. How was that experience?
Amazing. A classic.
Yeah. Sorry.
What are you? I'm winning at Mario Kart Tour. Let the world know that I'm the best at Mario Kart Tour.
The other group got to leave the airport at around 11 a.m., but with many of them arriving at 9 a.m., I believe. Finally, we are going to Toronto. First international flight, and man, it is very cold immediately. I think we're moving. First flight from Detroit to Toronto lasted about 40 minutes, but it was interesting seeing the flight attendants speak both in English and French.
Like just above your head is the yellow man.
Although the plane was very small, like 2x2 seats, I believe. I ended up recording about like a third of the entire flight, as I recorded a majority of the descending portion of the flight. But essentially, we took off, we're in flight for a little bit, and then we landed. That was pretty much it. So we spent several hours at Toronto Pearson International Airport, which was nice, but unfortunately there's like nothing around the airport except like parking lots and concrete. So we just mainly ended up like sitting around the airport, not really doing much. The experience was kind of interesting, but once the other group showed up, it became kind of chaotic. Not necessarily for anything in particular, just on how many people there were.
There's a bird just sitting up there. He's oh, there he goes. Did he run into the window or did he land in the window?
He ran into it and he landed by it.
That's the first time I've ever seen a freaking bird in a window.
Eventually, we did board our flight at around like 2:30 p.m. I want to say. I'm telling you, this is gonna be crazy. Oh man.
You're 21A?
22A.
Oh yeah, I'm 20.
Oh. I had not been on a plane for almost 8 years prior to going onto the trip, and I promised myself, as someone who loves geography, to savor every second of that plane ride. But I'm gonna be honest, when we were over like the Northwest Territories in Canada on that flight, and still seeing that there's like 8 hours to go on that flight, I started to break a little bit. This is the first class meal experience here above, where are we? Middle of nowhere in Ontario. Okay, so we got vegetable, I guess soy sauce, butter, bread, brownie. That looks good. I think that's soba. And some type of meat here. Oh, this is not. Now this is how it looks unwrapped. Actually, doesn't look that bad, but it is airplane food. Yeah, what'd you get? The chicken or crazy, and you were still waiting for yours. Pretty crazy. Plain process of getting in the bathroom sucked. And regarding the bathrooms, I really didn't want to use the bathrooms, but you couldn't avoid it due to how long the flight was, and man, the bathroom situation, just trying to get to it would be a pain. The flight to Japan. We're over Manitoba right now. Pretty crazy. Having a wrap over the Bering Straits, which you can't really see, but we're over it. So like an hour and a half until we arrive, and we have another course. It's like chicken noodles. That is one of the 2 courses. Fruit, bread, and water. It is crazy stuff, I'm telling you. The flight was supposed to take about 11 to 12 hours, and they were expecting it to take less time, but as I've had at least two other classmates say, they kind of lied. The flight ended up being about over 14 and a half hours, so that was... Yeah.
Oh, we're recording.
Sorry. Well, they have freeways in Japan. All I can say right now is watashi wa shiketsu komon desu. And it was just as gloomy as it was in Toronto and Detroit that day because, of course, it's springtime. Shiketsu komon desu. Holy shit, I'm in Japan. Epic. All my stuff. After leaving the plane and walking a little bit, we went through the COVID-19 requirements, then waited in line for an ungodly amount of time for immigration. Arriving in Narita, our tour guides were waiting for us, Atsushi-san and Mari-san. Atsushi-san was the tour leader of our group, the second group. Advertising.
Narita. With everybody here.
I would have recorded more at Narita International Airport, but unfortunately, due to like just how long the flight was and how exhausted I felt, and also having to like make a transaction of several hundred US$ into yen, I was kind of tired. And unfortunately, that was like the only time that we were in that like prefecture, pretty much. We're leaving Narita International Airport in Chiba Prefecture in Japan.
Konbanwa, welcome to Japan, everybody. Yokoso, Nihon. Welcome to Japan. Are you tired? Also have jet lag. Okay. So first of all, so set your watch. Okay, Japan time, 8:29, almost 8:30. Yeah, night time. Okay. Yeah, set your watch.
Crazy stuff. Regarding like how the tour played out, Group 1 stayed outside of the city of Kashiwa in Chiba Prefecture for the first couple days in and around Tokyo. Group 2, on the other hand, which included us, stayed in Kanagawa Prefecture in Yokohama, which was a bit of a drive that first day, like an hour and 30 minutes. Although, to be honest, after arriving at the hotel, I didn't really feel as tired as I was expecting compared to like how I was at the airport, which was interesting. That night, we only went to like a Japanese convenience store, konbini as they call it, and just stayed at the hotel because everyone was pretty exhausted. Although walking around the city at night and seeing like the different urban planning and seeing the different, just how culturally different it was a really interesting experience just immediately. And of course, every hotel that we went to, I recorded how the inside looked. So the one in Yokohama was very, very small, very crowded. Here, the bathroom, which is pretty small. Yeah, because
you can almost hit your head.
Yeah, you can almost hit your head on here. Oh yeah, you have to turn on the lights with your key card. And it's a pretty small room. I mean, it's pretty, you know, par for the course, but it's just smaller. Oh, and then also the view, yeah. Ugh. I mean, it's not bad. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah. The next morning, we went on one of the first of many buses that we would go on this trip from our hotel in Yokohama to Tokyo. And that was the first of the 2 days that we'd be spending in Tokyo. The capital city of Japan, of course. On the way there, we passed by Haneda International Airport, and we also passed by a lot of nice scenery, and also the National Diet Building of Japan, which I tried to take a selfie in front of, but unfortunately the bus was going the other way, so we have this. So the first place we ended up going into in Tokyo was Meiji Shrine. We spent some time there, walked around. And it is raining. It was raining during pretty much the entire duration of our stay at that shrine. We also oversaw a wedding where I took a photo of it, but they said that like we weren't allowed to take photos. Whoopsie. Next we went to the Harajuku district of Tokyo after a short bus ride. Yeah, this is an experience.
It is definitely an experience, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
That's for sure. Are you vlogging right now?
A little bit. And walked around Takashita Street. Unfortunately, and this is kind of common throughout the trip, we had limited time at some of these places, so there's that. Although we did eat at McDonald's.
We're going to Kiriland.
Yeah. Oh, walking. Next we went to Shibuya Crossing and crossed the Scramble Cross, as they call it, I believe. And that was pretty wild, I would say.
It's insanity! Yeah.
Afterwards we went on the highway, some interesting views on the highway, I gotta be honest. Also we got city and then trees over there.
It's like a Mr. Beast thumbnail.
Sakura, kirei. Sakura is beautiful. Sakura, beautiful. Kirei. These are Japan taxis made by Toyota.
We also went to a Honda showroom, which had this one robot that was at a museum back in 2019 when my dad and brother were there. Unfortunately though, they removed it like a month before we got there, so next we went to Sensoji in Taito Ward, which was another place that I had seen many photos of, and it was also again surreal being there because like it looked exactly how it did from the 2019 trip.
Oh, you are? What'd you get?
There we saw the beautiful architecture there, the many shops that were there, and also the questionable looking symbols, the manji. We are at Sensoji. It's a very nice temple.
The vlogger experience.
Yeah, and all the stores down there. Whoa.
Double vlog?
The triple vlog. Whoa.
There you
Triple
go.
vlog.
There you go. It's like that Spider-Man thing.
Oh man. But yeah, this is what happens when religion meets capitalism. After leaving Sensoji, we briefly went to Akihabara. Me and my guy Tegan. We went to this one place called Book Off.
We just got back from a book off.
Almost got a little lost.
We almost got a little lost, but
Oh, this is Akihabara. We weren't given much time to explore around, unfortunately, but hopefully we can come back here tomorrow. Also, during this vacation, I got pretty much like 6 hours of sleep like every day. So there are times when my mind just kind of stops working a little bit.
all right. So it's the haul. The haul. What'd you get today?
I got like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga.
Mine was slightly suspicious cover.
He got Spy Family, I believe. For dinner, we went to this one sumo restaurant. Unfortunately, they had stopped doing like the instrumental things and like the sumo wrestling there, at least when we were there. So that was, although the outside of it looked very interesting, and again, so the inside, and then talking to the classmates from bus 1, many of which who I had not seen since the airport in Narita. After that, we went back to the hotel. We got some cool shots of the downtown of Yokohama, my father and I. We still wanted to walk around a little bit, and yeah, it was a really cool looking city, I'll be honest. Nothing like walking around the Yokohama when it's raining.
Yes, sir.
Like it's also like misting, so like even when you have an umbrella, like water still goes in your face. You know?
I gotta keep the bag dry, dude. I gotta keep the Luigi dry.
Oh yeah, I forgot about my bag.
If it gets wet, it's done, bro.
Yeah, yeah, definitely needs to be dry. There's a lot to see here. It's pretty crazy stuff. Oh, nice ground among us. Alright, for real though, now I should probably start summarizing a little better. So their second day in Tokyo was a free day. We could pretty much go wherever we wanted. So what we decided to do was go mainly between Akihabara and Harajuku. And we also went to Ueno, and we kind of bounced back and forth between all 3 places that day. Ueno, oh, yo, yo. Crazy. We're at Ueno Park in the rain. Man, crazy. And that's the end of our walk through Ueno Park. Yeah. It's interesting experience, although. Wait, what?
This is super cool.
Yeah. It just sucks that it was raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only something for it, but other than that, it's super cool.
Yeah. Does this go, JP?
Forever. There is no escape.
No, like how hard does this go?
Oh my bad.
It's a
very. Not as hard as me though, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna explore Akihabara now.
Capybara.
Capybara?
Akihabara station, right?
Yeah. We're here.
We are. It's crazy. In Akihabara, there's that thing over there. When we were at Akihabara, we went to Super Potato and Mandarake. There were 2 video game related stores. And at Super Potato and even Mandarake, like when I was trying to find something, I felt kind of bad because there was like so much stuff to get, but I couldn't find anything that I like saw and was willing to like look at. Although to be fair, at Mandarake I did get a deluxe edition of the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack, which ended up being the most expensive item I got on the trip, so it wasn't a complete waste necessarily. I'm in a building where I don't think I'm supposed to be.
Part of the problem is we have to send you to one of the funny floor.
Oh yeah, we'll do. It's just like strange, like realizing that, you know, I am here.
Me and the boys went on the funny floor and we saw some funny stuff.
Oh yeah. Here, right next to Yodobashi. There it is. There it is. Jack in the Donuts. It's virtual. And yes, the donuts at Jack in the Donuts tasted really good. We're going from Akihabara back to Harajuku. Oh boy. Ichiran.
Here we are.
Here we are. At Ichiran. We had at Ichiran. I would have recorded more, but we were on a very tight schedule that day, of course. And, well, at least when we were eating lunch. Yes. Crazy. This is what we're talking about. The water. It's crazy. That also looks good. The ramen was so delicious. It doesn't even compare. Taking a look through Yodobashi. Looks like a department store. My feet hurt a little too much to run up. But let's see. We can get a crazy view there. Insane. So basically it's just a department store with chaos, both with people talking and the signs. Oh lord. They're gonna get mad that we're not going fast enough. I don't care.
I don't care either. You hear the music, the bumping.
That was something I put on set list up.
And this is the end of the Cherry Blossom Street.
Wait, where's the boat? Where's the boat?
The lights are hanging.
Oh yeah, that's it. Oh, okay. That'll explain it.
Where's the boat?
Where's the boat? There's the boat.
We're gonna walk this way, but just so you know, that corner of the building, right up here, that's where you see all of this, like, open up. So, yeah, the Ferris wheel is right there. So.
Yeah. So walk into the Hard Rock Cafe. Vlogging. Oh yeah, vlogging the experience.
Gotta make the memory.
Of course. So, yeah, just walking on wood. No.
Oh wait, I'm wearing a mask. Oh shoot.
It's just. Hey, that's not very nice. But yeah, so the Hard Rock I think is like somewhere over there.
Somewhere over there, so specific.
Extremely. So it's gonna be the second Hard Rock we go to today. Pretty crazy, I would say. Earlier in the day we had gone to the Hard Rock Cafe at Ueno Park, but that was only just to get pins really. Later in the day we actually had the Hard Rock Cafe in Yokohama, and that was actually really good. Really good food, really good pins, nice people and stuff. So that was an interesting experience, and also recording the walk there. Afterwards, we went to the Ferris wheel at Yokohama Cosmo World. That was pretty cool.
So here we are.
Yeah.
At the time, it was the largest Ferris wheel. Now the third largest Ferris wheel in the world. Yeah. Now we're at the top of. You can see the whole boat now.
Yeah.
You can see parts of Tokyo that direction, I think, and even in the tower.
Oh.
I think that's the sky tree down there. But pretty awesome view.
Then the day after that, we went to Yamashita Park in Yokohama. It was pretty cool, although like their fountain was kind of under construction. But it was really interesting seeing the cherry blossoms there and the brutalist architecture.
So, sumimasen, group photo.
Oh, it's like brutalist architecture.
Okay. Yeah, group photo, please, group photo.
It's like something out of Russia, except it's not. Clearly isn't not. That can focus. That is okay. Come on. We can do this. There it is. Yo, what's up?
This place is very cool.
It is.
Double vlog.
Double vlogging. Walking around. This is like the first time it's actually not raining, so that's nice. Thoughts on the Gundam figure, JP?
So sick. What time? Oh, wait, it's showing. Oh my god, it's gonna move.
Oh my. He's being funky. That's for sure.
It's so cool.
What are your thoughts on that, JP? It's so cool. What are your thoughts on that, Tegan?
I mean, it's pretty cool.
What are are your thoughts on that? Love it.
So, first impressions of the green tea ice cream.
So let's see.
How good though? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good?
11 out of 10. It's a nice park. Pretty epic. The day in Yokohama. And boat with the flag. It's crazy. You can kind of see some of the skyline of Yokohama. Oh yeah, and of course there. Yeah, there's the that tower, landmark tower.
This ship was fought in World War II, and they customized it as a passenger ship, but it was a battleship or something like that.
I wonder what.
It hit 3 mines and survived somehow.
Oh wow! I wonder what generals were in here.
Take a video of the tower right there.
Yes.
All right, so we're off to Kamakura now.
Yeah.
You going now?
After Kamakura.
Kamakura.
Yeah.
So where were we last night?
We were in. Well, I mean, we were in Yokohama.
Where? What were we looking at right over there?
We were in the Ferris wheel.
Giant Ferris wheel.
Huge Ferris wheel.
All right. It is time to go. There was the Gundam factory, the Yokohama Bridge over there. And we're gonna start heading back slowly.
The drive didn't take that long, and then by the time we arrived at Kamakura, we were dropped off at the Tsurugaoka Hachimangu Shrine. That rolls right off the tongue. That was the experience at Kamakura so far. We actually get to walk around the town. Oh yeah, it just. Yo, Tegan, how's the experience?
It's going so well.
Oh yeah.
I love stairs.
Stairs are epic, especially after a day of doing 20,000 steps.
And here we are in Kamakura.
Kamakura.
Beautiful pond with a ton of cherry blossoms. Let's go check this thing out.
Kamakura was an incredibly beautiful town, especially once we got to the downtown area and saw all the cherry blossoms along the main road. Although it did get a little crowded at times. Also, here's some of my classmates feeding the birds, I believe. We saw the Buddha there, that was really cool. Some of my friends bought the incense and pretended to smoke it. This Buddha, yo, vlogging again?
Vlogging, again.
Again. It's crazy. Oh wow, this is very out of focus.
Come on.
Okay, there we go.
There it is.
It's crazy how much larger the Buddha is in person than I was expecting. It's insane. I don't think this camera properly captures the depth. Like that mountain is kind of. It seems a little closer to the actual Buddha and taller. There was an inside to the Buddha, but it was very crowded. But it had some interesting stuff in there. That's for sure. Whoa.
It's time to go. And the coolest thing is that the cherry blossoms were in full bloom when we were here.
Then from there, we started our drive to the town of Izunokuni, which is a town near Mount Hakone and Mount Fuji. Which is why we were staying there. During the drive, we watched the movie Ponyo by Studio Ghibli, which we saw the Studio Ghibli store, at least my dad and I, and also Mrs. Harrington, one of the teachers along on the trip. It's the town of Nagasaki, I think, something like that. It has a funky name. We're watching Ponyo, apparently, so that's pretty gnarly. What are your thoughts, JP?
I love Ponyo.
Yeah. Also along the drive we saw the Pacific Coast, and that was actually the first time I, along with many of my classmates, saw the Pacific Coast with our own eyes, because during the flight it was pretty much obscured by clouds. Just by this one town on the Pacific Coast, pretty crazy mountains and stuff. Then there's the coastline. Yo, what's up, JP?
I'm the coastline.
Just going to our hotel soon. And man, now unfortunately this is a bus that doesn't have windows throughout the entire trip, like throughout everything. But
I felt that one.
Ponyo.
Bro, that guy's head looked like a Japan flag.
Ouch.
We're watching Ponyo.
We are. We are. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. I'm telling you. And then when we arrived, it was a very mountainous town, Izunokuni, and the hotel, it was nice. We had a traditional dinner. We also dressed up in the traditional outfitting, the yukata, and they were actually pretty comfortable, to be honest. Many of my friends afterwards went to the hot springs, like immediately after eating. I went a little later, but it was definitely an interesting experience. First time being completely naked, but it wasn't as weird as I thought it would be, like after the first couple minutes. It was very relaxing, although immediately going into the hot spring, it did feel like your skin was gonna like peel off a little bit, but only for like the first couple seconds. So we're in the town of Izunokuni, in the funny prefecture Shizuoka, I believe. Yeah, and so this is how the room looks. So you take off your shoes there. You walk over here, and there's a bathroom over here. Well, toilet, sink, and a shower. Pretty epic. Sleep on the floor. Hello. And then make the dining area, a mirror. Yo, the view of Izunokuni. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Then that morning when we woke up to go to Hakone, my dad and I realized that the flags that we had brought, the flags of Macedonia, the Socialist Republic of Macedonia, and Yugoslavia, were in our other luggage. When we were going to stay at Izunokuni, we ended up having to put our main luggage to send off to Kyoto, which would be the next place that we would go to. Unfortunately, we didn't have the flags with us, and I was kind of pissed about that, and you can kind of hear it in my voice in this video. Another day of waking up, well, I mean, just the first day of waking up in this bowling alley smelling place. Well, I mean, it's pretty cool. Is that Mount Fuji? Although it ended up not really mattering because Mount Fuji was completely obscured by the time we got there. So around Mount Hakone, we went and saw stuff with black eggs, the sulfur mine area, which was unusual. Got sulfur over there. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm low-key feeling the cold. Not really, actually. That's very
It is a bit cold. Yeah. I'm gonna try sulfur egg,
3 layers right now.
Black eggs. So that's gonna go. Yeah, we spent some time there. It was pretty cool. And then from there, we went to the peak of Mount Hakone. In these very gentle curves along the way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very long and wide turns.
Very, just very shallow turns. Oh man,
These curves curvier than anime girls, bro. I don't know what you're saying, bro.
it is insane indeed. We're waiting in line for
Making me crazy.
the lift thingy.
The lift, giant lift, all the way to about almost 5,000 feet up. We were about 3,250 at the volcanic, spot there with the eggs that they had.
Let's go.
I mean,
Definitely not crowded.
So here we are at roughly 4,500 feet on Mount Hakone. And we're supposed to see Mount Fuji, but unfortunately, as you can see, can't see 2 feet in front.
It looked like it was out of Silent Hill or something. And it was kind of ironic because my brother, when he was describing his time there, he said it was like so blue and so open, and it was just like the complete opposite when we were there.
Here we are at the top of the mountain. There's the Pacific Ocean. So here we are. We're supposed to see Mount Fuji from here. It's like the same spot where me and Alex and the crew were in 2019, and yeah, and part of it's roped off now, and you can't see hardly anything.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
And the temple is closed on top of that too. So
Okay.
We still took a group photo though. Going back on the lift, the descent was actually a decent amount better than ascending because, as my friend Cadence describes,
This is better than going down into the abyss.
It is, isn't it? Well, you can see the bottom of Fuji over there.
Yeah, very bottom.
and then afterwards we ate and then went on a boat on Lake Ashi. So that was interesting. It was very cold, very windy. From there, we saw Odawara Castle.
Monkey. Monkey.
The inside of it was just a museum, nothing too special itself, although it had many documents from like the 14 and 1500s, which was really interesting to see. And then the view of the Pacific Ocean from there, and just like the surrounding area in Odawara, it was really nice. Castle of Odawara, pretty tall. Also, they just converted the entire inside into a museum, so I don't know how to feel about that. Also, here's a clip of teacher Mr. Stitch throwing stars. Oh! Then from Odawara Station, we went on the bullet train to Kyoto.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
The bullet train is going pretty fast. This is the bullet train. It's crazy. Hello. It's pretty crazy. We were on the bullet train for like roughly an hour, but it felt longer because the sun set kind of quickly. On the bullet train, I did start to realize that the vacation, as quickly as it started, was somewhat coming to a close at that point. I mean, it's still, there's still way over halfway of the trip left, but at the same time, I had to realize that we wouldn't be going back to pretty much all of those places except Tokyo for a layover flight. After getting off in Kyoto, it was kind of annoying because we had to like walk across the entire station to the subway, and then from the subway we walked like several blocks to our hotel. So that was kind of a pain, but and this was with our luggage too. Granted, we didn't have like the full suitcases, but still. And afterwards, we went just to like another konbini, and we're preparing for our day in Kyoto for tomorrow. So walking into the room in Kyoto. Oh, so it's kind of small. So you walk in over here. We have our stuff laid out there. Beds. We got a window. Nice window. It is a view, but at least it's a clear sky finally. Finally.
No rain.
A TV, whoa. A mirror? Crazy. The bathroom. They got a nice window for privacy. It works really well, let me tell you. Yeah, they got a sink. They got a shower, which I used. It's pretty good. And they have a toilet. Now that's that's crazy stuff. So next day in Kyoto, we essentially did a tour of the city. The first place that we went to was Nijo Castle.
Nijo Castle. Outside, white color is a plaster. Stone wall, very beautiful.
It was very interesting to see. It was a very beautiful building, a lot of beautiful arts. Interesting ways that it was set up with like the floor and stuff. You weren't allowed to take photos inside, but of course that didn't stop me and my dad. And we also saw a nice garden there. It was pretty cool. So we're leaving that part of Nijo Castle. Oh, and I guess we're going inside another part.
The moat.
Yeah. So we're like right there or something. Crazy. There were also a ton of beautiful cherry blossoms, or sakura trees as they're called. Immediately afterwards, we went to this one textile shop that was kind of overpriced, and we were held up there a little bit. Not to be late in this line, that is for certain. The next place we went to was Kinkakuji, the Golden Pavilion, as it's called. Hey, there's a drop right there.
I looked over and it's like, oh, there's a drop there too. No, you can't take a picture of this.
Oh, oops.
This is what you pay the extra bucks for. You get the tourist line.
Oh yeah.
I passed the general admission line.
Sorry.
So long, so long.
And once again, it's another very beautiful building, although unfortunately in that case, there was so many people there. It was hard to like get like really any good video or photos. Well, video showing how crowded it was.
Oh yes. This is what happens when you come here on a clear sky day. Yeah. So.
Oh, beautiful.
Wait, can I see that on there?
Like a postcard.
I couldn't see it, just reflected on the tree. Once again, the Golden Pavilion. Whoa, a hut or something.
Yeah.
With some something I probably should read.
Yeah.
Water. I can read that. Still see the temple in the pavilion in the back. Tea hut or something. Kind of pretty old as far as I'm aware. So that's cool. Then the gift shop.
Also, there's another Buddhist temple next to Kinkakuji, and I got a fortune wishing me good luck, supposedly, according to one of the tour directors that was there. So that's good, I think. Afterwards, we went to Aeon Mall, and I was expecting it to just kind of be like a boring mall, kind of like, okay, who cares? Another capitalist agenda. But in actuality, it was really interesting seeing how the mall looked, especially the food courts. The food there was pretty good. I had KFC there, and way better than any KFC I've had here in the US, that's for sure. My classmates and I also took an essential photo next to the statue of Colonel Sanders. I also played bass guitar. I played one of my own original songs.
Like JD504.
But, oh, you were really good on the piano though.
Oh.
Yeah. I felt kind of bad because they had to unlock the guitars individually because there's locks on them and stuff. But they allowed me to play on it. I ended up buying a couple picks from there. This is one of them. We also went to the movie theater at the mall, which was on the top floor, and we went in a roundabout way and passed by this one parking garage that was on the top floor, and it was by far the most insulated parking garage I've ever been to.
And has movie theaters? What? Crazy. Although it is pretty nice that they have these things like that they pretty much give away. Yeah.
After leaving the mall and briefly seeing Nintendo's development center, we went to Fushimi Inari, which is where the 10,000 gates are, however many gates there are. The Tori gates with the orange reddish color. Also, the main Tori gate that people take photos in front of was unsurprisingly crowded, but we were able to sneak in a photo.
The gates are a bit more orange than I expected them to be in person. It's pretty crazy stuff, I would say.
Very much so.
Once again, we were under a very tight schedule, so we were only able to see certain things. We couldn't go to the very top, unfortunately. The gates themselves are very beautiful art as well, with a kind of calligraphy type of writing. I'm not sure the exact word for it, but
You should be able to turn back here.
Alright, let's turn around. No. Turn around. Pay respect, there's a little creek down there. Rekata Zolu.
Very terrain part.
What do you think? Looks. Oh.
It was cool.
Oh, we are back at the bottom. After that long walk to the top, here we are. Hi. Alright, next stop is restaurant and then Tokyo Tower.
I also put my Macedonian flag to good use, kind of. I also wanted to meet up with Alex Vodell, one of the former classmates in the 2019 trip, but unfortunately that didn't happen, but that's okay. Then we headed off for lunch, and once again we're heading to the bus, and it was a little cooler outside, so I said this to Chris.
You know, all this cold weather, all this cold weather is making me crazy. You know.
Crazy. They locked me in a room.
This crazy copy pasta that Chris and a couple other guys kept on repeating had been pretty much constantly said throughout the trip. starting in Hakone.
I was crazy. This is okay. In a room, a rubber room with rats. Crazy. I was crazy too. They locked me in a room, a rubber room.
Admittedly, in my experience, it got more funny as like the more times that it occurred. Because initially I was kind of annoyed by it, but because this would not be the last time, that is for sure. From there, the day was actually planned to stop, but we ended up continuing on to Kyoto Tower with courtesy of the tour guide. The view from Kyoto Tower after getting up the elevator and stuff, although it was kind of crowded inside, the crowd actually increased like over time, like at night, which was kind of annoying. But the view was beautiful.
Going up to Kyoto Tower, there's a lot of anime. I guess that's what they mainly use here. Ohio. Kyoto Tower. How's the experience up here?
It's pretty nice.
I'm facing my fears.
Epic. But yeah, there's a lot to see. It's pretty nice. The actual tower itself, the actual top, it's very blue and red, but yeah, pretty interesting. There's where the elevator is. I guess you could take the stairs down. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it's pretty cool.
How much was it?
Murph, look at that, those lights. It's a water fountain down there.
That's cool.
That is.
Here's me, Tessa, and JP at the top because you could take photos on the way down. Then, after going down their cool but very tight elevator,
I have to tape the video.
we made our way back to the hotel. Then, starting the next day, I drank some Mountain Dew I got on like the first day that we were in Tokyo.
Alright, Mountain Dew taste test in Japan. I forgot if it was the first full day or like the first day we landed. But I'm not trying it until now, so let's see. It tastes like more citrusy.
You mean like the real Mountain Dew was supposed to taste like?
Maybe. It doesn't taste bad, but it's okay.
We went on the bus to the city of Nara, and we saw the two main things that people go there for at the park.
And the Todaiji temple is such kind of place, the hall. Same as yesterday, always hall, inside the hall. Difficult to move all together. Although wooden structures, 200 years maintenance is very tough. Condition of maintenance. So usual case 200.
The Kasuga Taisha Shrine, which has a lot, once again, a lot of orange, reddish architecture with like torii gates, and also a lot of nice lamps, or lanterns rather.
I'll walk around Nara. Yo. There's like deer everywhere.
Even that comment feels like a slight understatement.
Yeah, there's somewhere. They're hiding somewhere right now.
The Todai Temple. This is not the Todai.
Well, yeah.
They're gonna want food, so be careful. And then there's the deer just checking us out here. Look, it's bowing. It's food.
It's like
Look at these guys all chilling. It's a chewing cud, basically, like regurgitating some liquid.
Five.
Yeah.
Okay, knock down.
Yeah, be careful.
Get yourself some caffeine.
Some deers over there.
Oh, look out, here they come.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Oh.
Look at them run.
Deer. They are running.
Alright, so Nick's about to feed the deer. Just a bootne. You gotta do it quick. Are you done?
Yeah. I'm sorry. They're greedy. Oh man. Can I eat the deer bread?
Ah, that's a bummer. Look at the size of this crow. Oh my god. Ah, ah.
No deer. No deer.
No, I know.
So what'd you think of that experience?
Funny deer. Funny deer. These deer, they're everywhere. Yo, dude, what's up?
No biscuits.
Pagoda thing. Interesting. Pretty crazy stuff. We also saw Todaiji, a Buddhist temple that had the largest enclosed Buddha in the world. The structure, I believe, is the largest wooden structure on Earth, and the Buddha itself was remade 3 times. We were told that on the way there.
What do you think? Huge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go inside and check out the Buddha.
It's crazy.
Here we are. Big, giant Buddha. Oh yeah, I gotta put myself in here too. Look, yeah. So here we are with Nick. In front of the big giant Buddha.
Yeah. There's the Buddha. It's pretty huge, in my opinion. Crazy stuff, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Truly a marvel in engineering, and the fact that it was also that the temple itself was also rebuilt 3 times.
In the back here, here's this freaky looking dude right here. My guy here. So now we're on the other side. You can kind of see the base. So the base, they kind of molded from the melted version of it, the first one. So it's amazing.
The first one was larger?
It was larger.
Oh my god.
Money prevented them from making it even bigger. It's crazy. And then to wrap up, let's go complete 360 basically. Let's see the other side. Now we say goodbye to the Todai Temple. Oh my god.
So from there, we went back to Kyoto. Going back to Aeon Mall, I had to remember, my god, this country uses a different script. That's so cool. I got stickers at this one store, and there's this one sticker in particular where it's like, if you put like any other city there, that just wouldn't. We also went to the arcade there. I played Taiko no Tatsujin, a rhythm game, and I played like these 2 songs at like max difficulty by accident. So that was there's this one song there that I didn't know the name of. It was in like kanji that I could not decipher, and my friend Isaiah, who wasn't on the trip, I messaged them over Discord, actually helped me find the song, so thank you, Isaiah. I also played Tekken 7 at that arcade.
Tekken 7 in Japan. And Nick is gonna try to play.
Few words try.
Hit the yellow button. Let's go. Oh. 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 We still got 2 more rounds.
We also got food from this one restaurant that had ramen and fried chicken, and it was probably one of the most delicious things I had ever consumed on that entire trip. After leaving the mall, it's a store, and it has a parking lot. Can you believe that?
They actually have a parking lot in that store?
We went to the Arashiyama bamboo forest, which again was another stunning sight, although unfortunately, again, in Kyoto, so many people.
It's pretty spectacular. There you go. This is kind of weird. This is wild. There are very few of these left though.
Oh, you should have said that you guys ate crop because I would have. That was
The forest is nice. This has a lot of people though.
Yeah, I remember this part.
This all seems like the most crowded part.
Alright, we finally made it to the bridge. There's cherry blossoms. Unfortunately, we can't go all the way down there. The water is like really clear. Cherry blossoms all the way up in the mountains. Absolute madness. You want a picture? Alright.
I remember there were times also where like we were on the tour bus where some of the students would wave and people on the street would wave back. Something similar happened here where some of my friends and I were like walking around and like these like two women like were waving at us from a restaurant and also waved when we were on the bus leaving. That was kind of funny. From there we went to Osaka, which took a while because there was a decent amount of traffic. But once we got there, we went to Dotonbori, which is one of the main centers for pretty much anything you could find regarding to like technology, video games, partying, merchandise, so many things.
Crazy crab.
It's also known for the Guriko sign that's been there for God knows how long.
We have reached downtown Osaka. There's our running man dude. And here we are. Hey, almost dropped it. Yes, very nice.
Crazy stuff.
It's graffiti.
I
And we're in Osaka. We can't read.
Can't read that. That almost looks like Cyrillic, but I don't think it is.
No. So here we are in Osaka. So Osaka, pick your fish.
Fish to keep, right?
Yeah. Oh no, definitely not fish to keep. Your fish turns into this right here.
My dad and I had Kobe beef there, which was really good. I had some wasabi with it.
Let's try some real Japanese wasabi. Alright. Uh-oh. Didn't want to get on that much. Ah, muda. Alright. I'll just,
I mean, my tongue's a little numb, but I mean, other than that, we're good. And also another instance of the crazy chant, this time in Dotonbori. Probably rooting some people out nearby, but you know.
A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. Crazy.
That's right.
Every city is
what we have.
Every city. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy.
No, Nate, don't join them.
Crazy. I was crazy.
There's Atsushi. There he is. There's our boy.
And briefly, but later at the hotel, I saw Matt Brake, another former 2019 Japan trip student, and that was really interesting seeing him there because I had known him because he was a substitute teacher at the school as well for a time. After getting back to the hotel though, yeah, for like an hour, I was talking to like Matt Brake, Sensei, his two daughters, and one of the other students on the trip. It was nice catching up and, you know, talking about just the trip in general so far. I also got the most amount of people on Street Pass anywhere in Japan in Osaka, and yeah, I took my 3DS to Japan.
This is the hotel in Osaka that we're gonna come back to.
Yeah.
So then you walk in, the bathroom is right here. It is a bathroom. Yeah, again, but yeah, it's taller, but still tight. TV, it's pretty self-explanatory stuff. Bed's pretty close together. Window, let's see that view, because I couldn't see it last night. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh. Stellar view.
That's actually the first time I've seen a painting in one of these hotels. It's crazy.
The next day we went to the station at Osaka and went on the bullet train for Hiroshima.
that ours? Wait, what time is it?
It is 8:38.
So this is probably not ours, right? Maybe.
JP, you better go quick.
Oh yeah. We're going on the bullet train leaving Osaka. Just like that. No, we're coming back to Osaka.
That's right.
Tomorrow
night. Yeah. My boss.
Oh,
weird.
Oh, yeah.
On the bullet train now.
You gotta go Himeji.
That's right. Even though Himeji has a bullet train. Oh, it's that. Remember that building with the hanging gardens up there? Do you see it? No. The opening. There it is. You see that one?
Kind of, maybe?
Yeah.
No, I was recording something.
Don't worry, I got you.
Block the view. Man, it's making it look warped now. At least.
Oh, now they cranked it off. We're getting closer here, right? Yeah. Not that far from Hiroshima now.
After leaving the station at Hiroshima, we went to the Peace Park and the museum. Also, the bus that we took in Hiroshima was by far the nicest bus on that trip. At the museum, we were given a lecture about the nuclear bomb detonation over Hiroshima, the thousands of people who died. And to be honest, I feel like the most disturbing parts were the parts that were more described rather than the parts that were shown. Just knowing the pain that the people went through and just a combination of many different disturbing atrocities that happened there due to the dropping of the atomic bomb by the United States. One of the people giving the lecture was Mito Kosei, a in utero survivor. He was born in 1946. He wasn't born yet, but he continues to give lectures about the Hiroshima atomic bomb blast. After the lecture, we went to the direct location of the Hypo Center, which was just in a parking lot, but essentially 200 meters above there is where the bomb was detonated. Of course, we also passed by the atomic bomb dome as well. I feel like one of the other things when you go to Hiroshima is just feeling the overall scale on how huge the blast was and how much of an impact it made on a pretty populated city at the time. It's like almost unreal when you're there, realizing that wherever there's the park and wherever there's generally speaking new buildings, it was pretty much just completely wiped from the map. After walking around a little bit and being guided around with one of the other tour guides who was there.
Now we will going to the Hyper Center and the Epicenter.
We went back into the museum and unfortunately had like limited time to do anything.
It won't really show up that well, but it's 28,361 and 561 is they're kind of rushing this stuff.
We saw many of the victims' clothes and valuables displayed in the museum along with images, although as far as I'm aware they did tone it down in recent years compared to how it used to be. It was a very surreal and sobering experience. My dad and I, along with one of the other students, Lyon, decided to go to this one view out center at the park by what's now considered the Atomic Dome. I also got to ring the bell.
One more time, harder.
It's a battering ram.
Something that a lot of students did before, but I was like the only student this time who did because, again, the lack of time.
It's money now.
Yeah, it is. Quite
money.
Quite surreal being here.
Yeah, we got like
slowly.
Yeah.
Go slow when you're recording it. Slow.
Nah, it's fine. We also ate our lunches at the park after like 2 hours of them just like kind of sitting at the museum. Not the best planning by EF Tours, and I gotta be honest on that end. Almost felt disrespectful eating in the park, but it seemed like there were many Japanese people who were also eating there, even many older Japanese people, which I found surprising, to be honest. Also, a couple months later, they held a G7 summit there, so there was some advertising for that as well. Then after leaving Hiroshima, we went to Miyajima Island, which was pretty much the westernmost point that we went to in Japan.
Taking a walk to the boat at Miyajima Island. Thoughts? I probably should do that.
We took a short boat ride, which was pretty cool due to like the waves and everything and the wind.
Yo, let's go. Swaggy is the man on this trip.
got the hard glasses and everything.
Yeah.
It's definitely not very cold right now or anything.
Here we are.
After arriving on the island,
Miyajima Island. Yeah. Really cool place.
we went to the Itsukushima shrine and the Torii gate that's there. The one with the water level that rises and falls throughout the day. Once again, a very stunning sight to see.
We got tickets. What's yours look like?
Oh,
it's got the yellow on the... I think it was Universal last time. They just introduced this. No.
Just parts of it. It was interesting seeing the rituals that they were holding at the shrine.
It's okay.
And also the gift shops. They had a decent amount of stuff, but again, limited time. But we were able to get a couple items here and there. Also trying to get to like the most southern point we possibly could, because that was also like the most southern point in the trip that we were at. We came across this one park that's labeled Torin on Google Maps, which I didn't know about, and it was almost like something out of a fairy tale, because there was just like cherry blossoms, the mountains in the background, deer, people chilling out. There didn't seem to be any tourists there either. It was really interesting seeing that, but we only spent like 2 minutes there.
This is how reasonably far south we can go in Japan with the tour. Pretty crazy, I would say.
I think so.
Yep, this is as far south as we get to go. With a couple of deer, trees, and now it's back to north and to the boat. Sort of low tide, but not completely low tide, because you can go up the gate. There's a pagoda.
Yeah. This is another place that seems kind of surreal to be walking around. The whole shrine complex thing. It's pretty crazy in my opinion.
Afterwards, we then missed one of the boat rides back, but it wasn't really a problem. So later in the day for dinner, we ate at this one place. I don't even know the name of it.
We're at the what is it called again?
It's pancake, a pancake noodle thingy.
Looks good. They made this thing with eggs, noodles, a couple other things, and it tasted actually really good. I remember seeing my brother and dad eating there back in 2019, like from images that were taken, and I thought it didn't really look that great, but it tasted really good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Looks good.
We'll see at the end how it looks.
Michelle.
It's pretty crazy how far that goes down. It's like an indoor alley.
Yeah, this is their hibachi station, so they make it right in front of you.
After leaving that place, we went to Hiroshima Castle.
Look at Hiroshima Castle. Unfortunately, it was destroyed in 1945, but it was rebuilt. Moda.
Yes, rebuilt.
Yeah.
It actually is in the same rough location, but the original was blown off its foundations by the atomic bomb.
Yeah. I think it would be shocking if it wasn't, honestly. But
it was only like half a mile from the explosion.
Then after leaving, we went to our hotel in Higashi Hiroshima, eastern Hiroshima. There wasn't much there except a konbini and a surprising amount of parking lots for Japan.
Looking in Higashi Hiroshima from our hotel, and the very far walk to the konbini of the 7-Eleven. That's crazy.
Now we can hop this.
Oh, we can't hop a fence? Oh.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll hop the fence.
There's a gap right there.
It was also right next to the bullet train lines, so that was kind of interesting to see that.
Alright, so from the konbini in Higashi Hiroshima, I got a steamed bone with custard cream. Now, how does this taste? Let's see.
Tastes like bread with cream. Also, many rooms there only had one bed, so some students had to share a bed, or others just slept on the floor, but like, there could have been possibly a little better planning with that. Walking in the room, we got the key card that you have to put in to power like everything in the room except like the fridge, a mirror, my sunburn on my nose won't go away, hangers, a desk, TV, mirror, another mirror, window. Let's take a look at this view. Bed, another bed, a smaller bed, a sink over here, another mirror, bathroom area, toilet, shower. Shower kind of sucked. That's about it in this room, but we're only here for one day. Then the next day we got up actually a little later than usual, and we took off for Himeji. Today was mainly just a driving day. Now, we didn't go back on the bullet train, we actually took a bus back. On the way to Himeji, we watched Spirited Away, another Studio Ghibli film, and it was, really good. I was also surprised on the amount of scenes that were made just kind of like gross, like intentionally gross, but again, just animated really well. A really great movie in my opinion. The scenery wasn't as insane as like the stuff we saw at like Hakone and stuff, but it still had somewhat tall mountains, so it wasn't entirely boring necessarily. But after a while of driving, we stopped at this one rest stop for like an hour. We got some food there. I had a croissant bagel. I also got this plush thing there for no comprehensible reason. We then arrived at Himeji Castle. I'd seen images of the castle before, but I didn't realize how huge it was. It was truly a marvelous sight to see in my opinion. Unfortunately though, trying to get inside took like over an hour, because of how crowded it was. We also heard like on some speakers like issues on like trying to prevent crowd crush, which, I mean, good thing that they have that, but like that's still kind of worrying to hear. At Himeji Castle, we've already climbed up a decent amount. I didn't realize how tall this was.
I don't know if I'm going now.
I'll see what time we get back.
Eventually, after going through the floors one at a time, finally the inside of Himeji Castle. Crazy. Himeji. We made it to the top of the castle, and we saw some pretty cool views through windows that weren't entirely clear, but like they had some like lines and stuff on them.
Yeah, we're at the top of Himeji Castle now, after all of this stuff behind us. Alright, it is jam-packed up there. There's a beautiful view of the place out here.
But the view was really nice, and then leaving the castle and seeing like how expansive the castle was at this one front area was really interesting as well. My dad and I, along with Mr. Murphy, went up, and we were, I think, like some of the only people in our group to actually go inside the castle due to like how crowded it was and people just not really feeling like going there. I know Tegan, Conner, and Alana walked around like the city center area of Himeji. My dad and I, we walked around a little bit, but we didn't really see that much. This one place that we were thinking about eating at, Menme, it was closed.
Close.
Just a street, really.
I'm sorry, I wanted to take you here.
That's okay. It's okay, I don't mind. Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
What's up? We saw some political demonstration going on. I don't know what that was about. It was also the first and only time I saw ramune in Japan, which I still have the bottle for, but it was interesting that I didn't see it like anywhere else in Japan. A special edition that had Himeji Castle on it. I've seen ramune.
And what's on the ramune? Look at that.
Oh yeah.
It's the Himeji Castle. Here, let me know how it tastes. So, we're about to go on the bus in about 12 minutes, and one last time, we're sitting right in front of it. They're going a little souvenir shopping.
Careful over there.
After taking a picture with Atsushi, we headed back on the bus. We made our way back to Osaka, back to our previous hotel that we stayed at there. On the way back, we watched a film called Water Boys by director Shinobu Yaguchi, and many of us thought that the style was copied directly from this movie called Swing Girls that we watched in Mr. Rubita's class, but it was made by the same director, so... It was a pretty funny movie, and eventually we made it back to Osaka. At Osaka, we had this other restaurant, which again, it's beyond me on how it's pronounced. It has a ton of kanji, I don't know. The food was pretty good, although it was a little cold. Granted, it was probably intentionally cold, some of the food. The restaurant was very appealing. It had a nice atmosphere overall, and it had many graphic posters, which was really interesting to see. Then we went back to Dotonbori. My dad and I went alone with 2 other chaperones. Some people from Mr. Rubita's group went, but only people like down at the lobby at that time. But we still wanted to go back to Dotonbori.
Nice. Alright, Nick, it's time to say bye.
Ironically, I did run into Sensei and Matt Break again. My dad and I went to a book off there. We tried to find video games or something. I was thinking about getting a Nintendo Switch. I tried messaging my brother at that time, then I realized he wasn't actually up at that moment, so I didn't end up buying it. And besides, there wasn't anything necessarily special about it, and the price was about the same as in the US, so... And that even goes for many of the games too, unfortunately. A book off in Osaka, and they're about to close, and they're playing that thing. Crazy stuff. I still got 2 CDs there though, so that's good. My dad and I continued to walk around Dotonbori for a little bit and just kind of reflect on the vacation and some other stuff that we'd been thinking about. Yeah, Osaka. Last full day in Japan. And it's a shame. There's a lot of Vietnamese restaurants around here, that's kind of interesting. But, yeah. This has been an awesome experience, but then there's also been some chaos around it. But I am very glad to have the opportunity to have gone to this country. Would you say the same?
I love it. It's awesome. Hope to be back one day.
I hope so as well. On the way back, we took a taxi, us along with Mrs. Harrington and JP's mom, and the taxi driver was a guy from Korea. He was pretty chill. Then we got back to the hotel to take a brief nap because our flight to leave Japan, our flight leaving Osaka first, would have to be up at 3 in the morning.
To leave the airport.
We saw the rising sun in the land of the rising sun.
Okay, we are approaching Kansai Airport, rising sun. So check everything, also take your luggage.
The next morning we arrived at Kansai International Airport at around 5:20ish in the morning to board our flight from Osaka to Haneda International Airport at Tokyo. So, last couple hours in Japan, we're at Kansai International Airport. On an island. That's when it really started to hit me that the trip was coming to a close, which was kind of sad. So in a couple hours we're gonna leave Japan. What are your thoughts on that?
No, this shit's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, and it is very crazy.
It's almost as crazy when they put me in a box, man. A rubber room, a room with rats, man. Those rats, they make me crazy, man. Crazy. I was crazy once.
I am.
They locked me in a room, a rubber rat.
I said the funny word, the crazy word.
The rats make me crazy.
It's the beginning of the end for leaving Japan.
Yeah, step 1. Hey, we're doing a domestic flight.
We are.
Your
Indeed.
lifelong dream for once.
It's crazy. I guess. But, it's just not something you see every day, I guess.
on a smaller plane. I don't think it's as small as the as that.
Boston the sky.
Yeah, or at least I hope not. After a brief flight from a plane that looked like it was straight out of 1997 in a good way, where we also saw Mount Fuji upon our descent in Tokyo for the first time. It actually existed. Crazy.
We are passing by Mount Fuji. See it?
Thank you. Do you want me to record it from here, bud?
I got it. Okay. Wow. Beautiful. Get another shot. No camera.
A little.
Yeah.
We then arrived in Tokyo. At that point, we said goodbye to our tour guides, Atsushi-san and Mari-san, and we prepared to go back to Detroit. Now, getting to the other terminal was a bit of a pain because all the buses were constantly crowded, but eventually we did make it. And then we ended up waiting at the airport for like 6 hours, 7 hours. And there we got food and stuff.
Hey, so we're in the Kaneda airport with your boy Conner and Tegan. It's Nicholas. It's Nicholas. And we're trying to find Western food, and I was lying to. There's no Subway.
Well, yeah.
There's the only Western food place
here.
Yeah. Cardinal is very. How's the chicken, sir? Let's get a food review. It's okay.
The rice is rice.
Rice is rice. What about the soda?
It was hard. Was garlic? Hard, yes.
I thought the chicken was pretty good.
Also, I gotta eat my croissant.
Yeah, we gotta get a review of the croissant too. Let's see. Yeah, I got an eyebrow raise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be a good croissant.
It is.
But you couldn't really do much, although I did do some last minute buying for stickers and stuff. Many of us also oversaw quite a famous warning sign in the bathrooms. Some of us did some plane watching. I personally did reflecting, like in this video. This is at Haneda International Airport. We have a over 5 hour layover here. Went from Osaka to here, and then from here we're gonna go to Detroit. So let's see. What can we see here? We can see skyline. See planes taking off like that one over there. That one's going. Maybe. Oh wait, no, he's landing. Never mind. Oops. Is he going? My man running over there. A lot of people over here. Oh, this probably sounds really terrible now thinking about it because it doesn't have the mic thing on it. Tokyo International Airport. There we go. It's very nice. And here you can see the skyline. Going directly that way. Yes, sir. Look over there. Really hard to tell. But yeah, pretty nice, pretty crazy stuff. Still like knowing that I'm in a very far continent, a very far place from home. Still kind of hard to grasp. and also hard to grasp that I'm going to leave in a couple hours. I think I just stopped it, but I think I was done talking. But yeah, just the fact that, you know, we're gonna leave after this amount of time. It's barely enough to fully appreciate it, I guess. I don't know. So this is where we're waiting by. What's up?
He's vlogging. Yo, that thing looks crazy, man.
Yeah, it looks pretty crazy.
I can see you zooming in on me.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But you know what else is crazy?
Rats make me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once, and they locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy.
So, this is in 4K.
I see it is.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Sensei's over there.
Yesterday we lost sunset at 3 a.m. Well, technically, it was 3 a.m. Hold on, let me find the specific time zone. It was 3 a.m. at.
My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live on 308 Negra Oil.
Yesterday we lost Rubina Sensei at 3 a.m. Adamstown time.
Adamstown, where? What country?
I don't know.
The process for leaving Japan took a little bit, especially after like getting through like the security checks and stuff, and also accidentally leaving one of the carry-ons by the scanner thing, which was quite the shocker. We eventually made it to the terminal. That area was under slight lockdown at one point because they were doing a security check.
Dude, the trains are so fun.
What's up, Nick?
What's up? What's up, Connor?
Before we get on the big plane. Is that an Airbus?
Yeah, Airbus A350-9. On the gearing, it says it's 3506. That means that it's the 6th A350 that has been rolled out by them.
Is it about the same size as the last plane that we were on?
Basically, yeah.
So we're leaving Japan.
12 hours away.
Yeah. This flight that we boarded on was about 11 and a half hours to Detroit, directly from Tokyo. This is it. We're leaving Tokyo. We're leaving Japan. The country. I don't know when I'll be back. Hopefully it isn't like in like 10 years or more, but that all depends on what you choose to do in life. That is very true, but I'm very, once again, for like the 10th time, I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to travel to this country, and let's see how that goes.
On the plane we go.
How long does the hallway continue till? Goes down there. Crazy. Thoughts?
It's a good trip.
Yeah.
Some highlights, some moments, but all in all I thought it was good. It was really good, especially for you. That was important.
It was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Although we are leaving now, so. I got one more cool shot of Tokyo though. The flight length seemed a lot shorter than the one to get to Japan because I was more occupied with movies. I watched The Big Lebowski for the first time, completely uncensored.
Dios mío, man.
Seriously though, it was a great movie. Yeah, lunch while watching The Big Lebowski. I gotta say, the food, kinda subpar. I also watched this one movie called Baby Driver, courtesy to this one guy who was sitting next to me, this one British dude. He was pretty chill. He also let me get views of the plane leaving Japan and ascending in the US, so thank you. So after several hours, I'll finally use the bathroom again. This is on the side, but it has no window, so that sucked. Toilet. Hopefully this isn't as bad as the other bathroom, but
on the other plane, but yeah, it's a pretty basic bathroom.
I also watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time. I attempted to watch Better Call Saul, but I kept on passing out, but only briefly usually. Also on this flight, we mainly just flew over the Pacific Ocean. We didn't even enter Canadian airspace whatsoever. We also saw the sun set for April 2nd and the sun rising for April 2nd again. So we passed over some mountains in the western United States, but unfortunately I was asleep during that entire time and woke up over North Dakota.
Last drink of Japanese orange juice on this flight back home. We're like almost over Minneapolis. I also had like fruit, so that's crazy. It wasn't that good.
Needless to say, going on Delta made me realize how delicious Air Canada's food was in comparison. But then after we landed, I had to remember it was still basically winter where I lived, which was kind of depressing.
Thank you for the view as well. We are back in the US of A. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
But then we exited the plane, picked up our stuff, and left the airport, where then my dad and I were greeted with my mom and my brother, where we then started to tell them all about the trip. And that was it! For those of you who've made it to the end, or if you've skipped to, I really appreciate that you have watched this video. This took way too long to make. Next time I'm making a travel video, it will not be made this way. I will try to do less editing in post, essentially. So, and the next travel video may come up sooner than expected. So we shall see how that goes. But again, thank you, and I really appreciate everybody involved who was able to make this trip happen, along with the friends along the way that I've made, and of course my dad. I felt like this was an extremely molding vacation, especially for someone in high school like me, and for other high schoolers, so again, thank you. Finally done, like 3 months later, let's go. But yeah, see you in the next video, that's all I can say.